Hello everybody. So now we are going to see how to do the solution using the Turing technique using Microsoft Excel. So I just want to show you the what we have here. So this is, of course, this is the flow sheet with all the information that we have. This is going to be important because we are going to use the balance equations here. Here we have in this table it consists of rows. Each one of these rows represents one of the components. This is inerts, this is benzene, this is ethylene, this is ethyl benzene, and this is the total. And this is the first column, which is the stream number 1. This is stream number 2, stream 3, 4, 5, and so on. Here for stream 4, I have two columns, one for the assumed value and one for the calculated value. And what we are going to do is we are going to list the equations that we have here. I here listed the additional relations. These are the four relations that are the relations for the separator, which relate stream 3 to stream 4, and we have here the fractional conversion relation for ethylene in the reactor, and I wrote the balance equation for the fractional conversion. I mean for the mass balance on ethylene, which is ethylene in stream 3 equals ethylene in stream 2 minus the extent of reaction. And from these two equations, I was able to find a form for the extent of reaction as a function of the number of moles of ethylene in the feed to the reactor. So this is a useful thing because this is how we are going to calculate the extent of reaction, okay, using this relation. Anyway, so now what we are going to do is we are going to list all the information that we have in the table. So we will go one by one. Okay, first we have to assume value for stream number 4. We know that the feed of ethylene, benzene, and inert is 1000, 1000, and 500, and I know that most of ethylene is going to go in the top product, and the same for benzene. So we'll have the unreacted. So if I have 1000 moles here, then the 1000 will let's say we will have, I don't know how much, but I would assume that for ethylene we will have like 500 recycled and benzene 500. This is the initial guess. This is my initial guess, and again it depends on how you look at things. But we will have some ethylene and benzene recycled, and we will have a lot of inerts as well, because we have 70% of the inerts are recycled and only 5%. So we'll have a small amount of ethyl benzene and big amounts of ethylene, benzene, and inerts. Okay, so this is the logical guess, because this is what the separator does. It separates ethyl benzene from the rest of the components. So what I'm going to do here is in the column of assumed stream 4, I will put my assumed value. So I would put 500. This is not dependent on any given information. It's just an assumption. And I would put 500 moles of benzene, put 400 moles of inert, and 10 moles of ethyl benzene. Okay, it has to make some sense, but you have no clue how the numbers will be. And then I can have calculate the sum. So this is the sum of the assumed value. And I will go with the flow sheet. So now if I know the values of stream 1, I can use it to calculate stream 2. So I'll put the values for stream 1. It's 1000 ethylene, 1000 benzene, 500 inerts, and 0 ethyl benzene, and then I have the sum to be 2500. Now based on these, we can calculate stream 2. So all what I'm going to put now are equations. All what I'm going to put are just equations. So I'm going to have do the mass balance on the mixer. So stream 2 is the summation of 1 and 4. So this is 1 plus the assumed value of stream number 4. Okay, and again look at this, and you would see what I mean. This is the assumed value, a number that I have. It's not correct, I know, but this is what I'm going to start with. I will add these two to get stream number 2, and now we can calculate the total. For stream number 3, it depends on the extent of reaction, and we know that the extent of reaction equals 0.7 of the number of ethylene in stream 2. So this is ethylene in stream 2 times 0.7. So I have the extent of reaction, and now I can calculate the output. For ethylene, the balance equation of ethylene is ethylene out equals ethylene in minus the extent of reaction. For benzene, it is benzene in minus the extent of reaction. The inerts is the same, there is no extent of reaction, and this is plus the extent of reaction. Okay, because ethyl benzene is a product, benzene, ethylene are all reactants. All of them have one coefficient, the coefficient of 1, positive for ethyl benzene and negative for ethylene and benzene. Now I can, from stream 3, I can calculate stream number 5 and stream number 4. So for this is the additional relations. Stream number 5 is the one in the bottom. Oops, it's here. And for stream 4 is the one in the top. So what I will do is I will use the additional relations to calculate stream number 4. And from stream 4 we can calculate 5 from the mass balance equation. So now I'm calculating the red ones, the calculated values of stream 4. So the calculated numbers of stream 4 for ethylene, it is the value in stream 3 times 0.9. Okay, and for benzene, it is benzene in stream 3 times 0.8. And for inerts, it is the inerts in stream 3 times 0.7. And for ethyl benzene, it is ethyl benzene in stream 3 times 0.05, 5, not 8. Okay. So this is the calculated values, and these are the assumed values. They are not equal, but they're close. The differences are not huge differences. Okay, and stream 5 is going to be the difference between 3 and the calculated values of stream 4. So this is 3 minus calculated 4, and we will copy and paste this. So this is the product. So based on the numbers that we see here, and these two numbers, I put blue for blue and red for red. So based on these numbers, we are sure here that the assumption is not right. So I want to minimize the difference as much as possible. And to minimize the difference, we use a tool in Microsoft Excel. It's a very, 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 very useful tool. It's called Solver. Okay, so Solver is a tool that we use to do the iterative solutions. So if you open the Solver, it's going to give you an objective cell. Objective cell is the cell that you want to adjust its value, and the value that you want this cell to be equal to, and you have some variables that you can change. So you are telling the software that, or this is what we will do, that I want you to change the values of stream 4 or these 4 numbers to make the difference between stream 4 assumed and stream 4 calculated very small. Okay, so this is what we do. So for the objective cell, we have only one objective cell, and I cannot ask it to adjust more than one cell, and I cannot ask it to adjust this and this and this and this. It has to be only one cell. But I can ask the software to change more than one cell. So the way we can do this, or find a trick to find the solution using the tool without or with the restriction of having one objective cell, is to collect all the differences in one cell. So you can see here that the difference between these two is an error. This is the error that we have, and this is an error. The difference between these two is an error. So the sum of these numbers is going to be the sum of the errors. So I can say that this is the differences. Okay, so the difference is this minus this. Okay, and if I do this for all of them, then these are the differences, and the sum of these is the sum of the differences. Okay, so if I can put this to 0, then these are zeros. So I reach the point where the difference for each one of them is 0. But this is not going to work here, because you can see some of them are negative and some are positive. So we need to make it so for example, it could make it negative 100, negative 100, يعني it could make it 100, 100, negative 100, and negative 100. So the sum of the differences is going to be 0. But actually, this is not, each one of them is not 0. So what I want is each one of them to be 0. So I want to get rid of the negative signs here. I want them all to be positive. So one thing we can do is to square all of them. Okay, so by squaring all these numbers, we are getting positive numbers. So if I am able to make this number 0, then the only option is that all of these are zeros. So not have positive and negative values that will cancel each other. So and this method is called the least square method. That we want to get the least value of the sum of the squares. So now we can open the solver, and in the solver we are going to ask it to set the objective cell, which is this cell, which is the sum of the differences, or sum of the square of the differences, to 0. I want it to be 0. And to do this, I'm going to change the assumed value of the flow rates in stream 4. So if the software is able to change these numbers so that the differences are very, very small, then I'm done. I'm done with the solution. So if I click solve, it's going to do some changes in the values of the components, and then at the end we will see this message. This is a very, very happy message for you if you see this. It says the solver found the solution and all constraints and are satisfied. So if you click OK, it gives you an option is to either keep the solution or restore the original value. So I want to keep the solution. Now let's look at the numbers. If you look at these two, they will look exactly the same, the two columns, and these are the differences. And this is an amazing thing that the software can do this. So it changes 4 numbers, and as you see, these are all equations. All what we have here are equations. So they all will change accordingly based on the values that or the values that we have at the end. So you don't need to recalculate anything else. They are already automatically calculated. So the differences are 10 power minus 8, 10 power minus 10, which is, you have a difference of 0.000000 and then a number, which is 0. It's 10 power minus 8. It's a very, very small difference, especially we are talking about hundreds here. So it's 10 power minus 8 compared to 1000 or 100 is nothing. So it's a very, very interesting thing. So now if you look at these the numbers here, this is the solution. Now you have and this is the good thing that I told you about this method, is that you have already listed here the flow rates and the compositions for all the components in all the streams. It's not like what we have in the matrix solution. So if you want to look at stream 3, you want to know how much inerts in stream 3, it's 1666. So you know these are the number of moles of inerts in here. Again, if you want to double check, we checked with the inerts in stream 1 and stream 5, and from the overall mass balance we know that the numbers of inerts, moles of inerts in stream 5 is 500, because we have 500 in the feed. So if you look here, these are the inerts. It's 499.9997. So if we want to make it kind of approximated, we can make it just 2 decimal places. So these are the numbers that you get. It's 500. It's almost 500. Okay, and we know all the flow rates for all the components, and we're done. And the same here for the extent of reaction. I already put here the results that we got from the matrix operations, just for comparison. So let's look at stream number 2. These are the flow rates of stream number 2, and these are the flow rates of stream number 2. Ethylene is the same number, which is this. The benzene is this. The ethyl benzene is this. Again, let's make it just 2 decimal places, and the inerts is 166.67. So it's getting the exactly same thing. The extent of reaction 958.9, 1009 for ethyl benzene in stream 3. It's the same number. If you look at stream 5, 41, 500, 958. So it's giving the exact same result. Okay, I like this method more because it gives you the result in a very detailed way. Okay, so you don't have to go back and break these outputs as it was in the case of matrices. However, it's not a guaranteed thing that you will get the outputs converged or the results converged from the first time. It's very likely that it will not converge. It cannot get the results as you need. In many cases, you have to change the initial guess many times until you reach an initial guess that will make it converge quickly. So this is also one limitation to this method. So these are the two methods that we have. You are free to pick whatever method that you like, but I hope these extra materials made it clear for you why the process column in the degrees of freedom table is very important, and why the degrees of freedom is very important, because you will not be able to decide whether you assume or not, whether you go for relocation of bases or not, whether you go for tearing or any other method without the degrees of freedom table. So by this I end this course. I hope it was useful, and I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.